Chapter 1. A Good Idea. In my pajamas, I raced downstairs and slid a few yards across the kitchen floor, just as Mom stepped through the back door. "Whoa, Grace, slow down." Her face matched her bright pink running shirt. "It's only the first day of summer vacation. You have almost 3 months ahead of you to do all those things you want to do." "But I just thought of a way to make Grandma's muffin recipe even better," I said. Another good idea," said Mom as she bent to untie her running shoes. "You may use the oven, but can I get a good morning first?" "Oh, sorry. Good morning," I said. I'd hug you, but I blew her a kiss instead. "I know, I'm sweaty, but I did 7 miles this morning," Mom announced proudly. "It's only a couple of months until the half marathon." She sat down in front of the computer to log her progress, which she did after every run. I am just like Mom that way. I like to have a plan. I preheated the oven and then opened the fridge to pull out a blue ceramic bowl. Last night I'd whipped up a thick batter with eggs, sugar, flour, and yogurt. Now I gently grated the rind of a lemon to make lemon zest, my new secret ingredient. Then folded the zest in along with fresh blueberries. And then I spooned the batter into the muffin pan and turned to Mom. "Can I bike with Maddie and Ella? We want to meet at the bakery for Grandma and Grandpa's anniversary celebration, and then we want to ride the bike trail." Mom was setting out bowls, milk, granola, and bananas on the table. "As long as you stay within the boundaries we've discussed, and give Grandma and Grandpa a hug from me, okay? 30 years in business is a long time." "I will," I promised, as I put the pan in the oven and set the timer. I was anxious to see how Grandma's recipe with my secret ingredient would turn out. While I waited, I took my turn on the computer in the corner and checked my online calendar. Today, June 17th, 8:30, bake muffins. 10, help Grandma and Grandpa celebrate. 11, ride bikes with Ella and Maddie. 3, go to the library to check out books. And then I took a brimming bowl of cereal to the deck outside, where I would still be able to hear the oven timer. A minute later, Mom joined me. Beside us in the azaleas bloomed deep purple, and somewhere high in the towering oak above, a robin sang its heart out. And then came a familiar clink, clink, clink. I spotted Dad on the other side of the maple tree, tinkering with the ancient stone wall. "Hi, Dad." "Mornin', lovely ladies," he called, peering over his shoulder. "Fresh muffins soon," I promised him. "Just say one," he said, and then went back to clinking out an old broken stone. Our stone wall doesn't quite date back to the Industrial Revolution, when mill towns cropped up along the Blackstone River here in Massachusetts, but pretty close. Besides, cross-country skiing and building quirky birdhouses, fixing up that stone wall seems to be Dad's main hobby. It is a break from his therapist work, listening to people all day. But once he told me that stones whisper too, if you listen closely. Next door, the neighbor's golden retriever, Zulu, gave a friendly bark. I dashed over to the wall. She stood on her back legs to greet me. I scratched her head and behind her ears, and then her owner, Mrs. Chatsworth, called for her, and she took off again. When I sat back down with Mom and returned my cereal, I said longingly, "Mom, can we please get a dog this summer?" She laughed. "Oh, Grace, before you know it, I'll be back to teaching 5th graders, and you'll be starting 4th grade, which I can hardly believe. For a busy family like ours, a dog's a huge responsibility." I groaned. That's what I thought you'd say. It seems right now, she continued, that you have the best of both worlds. You can give Zulu attention when you feel like it, without the daily work of taking care of her. I was about to protest when the timer buzzed from the kitchen. I'd better go check the muffins, I said, hopping up. And I need a shower, Mom said. What I do know, she added as she followed me inside, is that you sure inherited the baking bug. You and your Aunt Sophie. Aunt Sophie is Mom's younger sister. She went to Paris a few years ago to study pastry making and ended up marrying a French baker and moving there for good. I love baking, I do, I agreed. But I love dogs too, and I can't wrap my arms around a muffin or a cookie. Mom chuckled. Good point. She reached for a hot pad and helped me pull out a steaming muffin pan from the oven. The smell of those muffins pushed dog wishes from my mind. Did my secret ingredient make a difference? I couldn't wait to find out. I parked my bike outside of First Street Family Bakery and stepped inside. Air warmed by the ovens and scented with baked goods filled my nostrils. I breathed in deeply. Yum. I could live for 100 years and never tire of that smell. There's my favorite girl, Grandma said, beaming from behind the glass bakery counter, its racks filled with fresh cinnamon rolls, caramel rolls, donuts, and various breads. Faint country western music played from the kitchen behind her. Grandma shook her head with feathered gray hair. You're coming at the perfect time. I haven't gotten the hang of this thing yet, she said, gesturing towards her new laptop. Grandpa and I aren't exactly up to speed on technology. You'll get it, Grandma. It just takes practice. She adjusted her red glasses and smiled. Are you sure? You know what they say about old dogs? I thought for a second. Hard to teach an old dog new tricks? She grinned at me and nodded. Now, what do you have there? I had almost forgotten about the paper lunch bag in my hand. For you and Grandpa, I said, holding it out toward her. Let me know what you think. Be honest. Grandma peered into the bag and pulled out a lightly golden muffin. Ah, you tried the muffin recipe. I nodded. She took a big bite, looked at the ceiling, and then smiled. It's wonderful. What did you add this time? Lemon zest, I announced proudly. I love getting recipes from you and playing around with them. It makes me feel like, well, I struggled to put it into words. Like you're carrying on the family tradition? Grandma offered. I nodded. Exactly. Someday, Grandma said with a wink, you won't even need recipes. You'll come up with your own. Think so? I know so. You're already experimenting with adding new ingredients. That's my grace. Always full of ideas. Just then, Grandpa stepped through the kitchen swinging door. His denim shirt sleeves were rolled up to his elbows, and in his big hands he carried a plate of assorted cookies. Hey, Grace. Come to help us celebrate? Today was First Street Family's Bakery's anniversary. In the front window, a big banner read, celebrating 30 years of baking in Bentwick, Massachusetts. Yes, I told Grandpa. What can I do to help? He handed me the tray. You can offer a cookie to customers if you'd like. Absolutely. When the door opened, and a white-haired couple stepped inside, they looked up at the bouquet of balloons on the counter. 30 years, the man said with the wag on his head. That's even before we moved here to Bentwick. Would you like a cookie? I asked, holding out the plate. He smiled, thanked me, and picked one. There are napkins on the counter, I said, with a nod of my head towards the balloons. So many businesses come and go, the woman said to my grandparents, but you two are still at it. That's really something. Grandpa nodded. Well, we never gave up. We started with just a few dollars. We rented at first, and eventually we bought this old brick building. We put in a lot of elbow grease to get it in ship shape. It wasn't easy. It took a while getting used to getting up at 3 a.m., but I've never regretted it. We've sure met some wonderful customers, Grandma nodded. It's fun to do what you love and share it with others. It makes for a good life. She linked arms with Grandpa and smiled at him. As more customers strolled in, I offered them cookies too. Grandpa usually works in the kitchen, but today he lingered by the counter with me, visiting with everybody. In between customers, an idea had crossed my mind before it suddenly tumbled out of my mouth. Someday, I want to start a business just like you two. For a moment, my words, start a business, hung in the air like shirts on a clothesline, clean and fresh. Grandpa and Grandma shared a knowing look and a smile, as if they understood me perfectly. And then Grandpa said, "Well, why not? You get to be your own boss, and you get an idea, you can just run with it." "That's the part that seems really fun," I said. "Plus, I love to find something that interests me and jump on the computer to learn more. I just wish I could do something right now." Grandma reached for a copy of Boston Globe behind the counter and started paging through it. "We just read something recently about kids who've started their own businesses." "Really? So maybe I don't have to wait to start something." Excitement bubbled up in me like a carbonated drink. "Shake it up and look out." "Sure, you just have to come up with an idea that you can make work." "But what would I do?" I wondered aloud. "Brainstorm. Keep your eyes and mind open, and you'll come up with something." His confidence was contagious, in a good way. I could do this. I really could.